Hi everyone, it's Ben here from Somerset Foodie. We're going to make sushi today, and it's super easy and so much simpler than you might think. And it's great for all the family, get the kids involved. All you need is a few simple ingredients, and we've put together a brilliant little kit that gives you everything you need, and then all you really need to decide on is what you put in the middle. So yeah, let's get going. So what you get in your sushi kit are all the essentials. So sushi rice, rice wine vinegar, the nori seaweed sheets, you get the wasabi, the pink pickled ginger, and then the all-important little bamboo rolling mat that makes it much easier to roll up your sheets. Right, so the first job you really need to do is cook the rice. It is the only thing that can potentially go wrong, but if you follow a few simple things, it's pretty straightforward. So I'm going to make two of these sheets. So effectively like two rolls, and that will give me enough for probably about 18 to 20 pieces. So for that, I'm going to use about 150 gram of the sushi rice. I've measured it out in this I Love You Mummy cup, which is about 3/4 of that. So what we have to do is wash this really well under lots of cold running water, and then kind of, if you can, soak it a little bit as well. That really helps. But yeah, and then we'll cook it in, well, it's 1.25 amounts of water. So if you do 3/4 of a cup of rice, we'll have 1 cup of water, and that will be spot on. So I brought that cup full of water up to the boil, and I've drained my rice off and washed it, and in it goes. Now, you'll probably think, oh my God, there's hardly any water, but trust me, just give it a little stir, stick the lid on, and then we're going to cook this for probably about 15 to 20 minutes. Give it a stir every so often, and it will be fine. Whilst the rice is cooking away, we can just get the seasoning for the sushi rice ready, and it's really simple. For this amount, I'm using about 45 ml of rice wine vinegar. I'm going to use a tablespoon of sugar, and then a nice big pinch of salt. Maybe a little bit more, there we go, that's about enough. And then we just mix that together really, and you just want the sugar and the salt to sort of dissolve a little bit. Without this seasoning, your sushi rice won't taste like sushi rice. Okay, so the rice has been on for about 15 minutes. You just need to check. And all you're doing is it's soft, and all the water should have basically absorbed. So you've got basically dry rice. And then all we're going to do is now tip in our seasoning. And I'm just using a little spatula just to mix that through. What I don't want to do really is break these grains up. So I'm just mixing that seasoning through. And then what we're trying to then do is get this rice to cool as quick as possible. So I'm just going to tip it out on this tray. I've got a clean damp tea towel, so I'm just going to cover it with that. The cold tea towel just helps cool that down nice and quickly and stops it from sort of drying. Right, so my rice is cooling, it's pretty cool now. I've just prepped up these ingredients pretty simply really, just sliced up the smoked salmon, sliced up the bits of avocado, and I've taken the prawns. You probably don't need to, but I've just chopped them in half. It's kind of time to start building, so get your mat out. Now here's a real little tip. Get a little bowl of water near you and just put a little dribble of that vinegar in, because having wet hands really helps to stop things sticking. So here we go. Okay, so get a piece of the nori seaweed onto the mat, and then I'm just going to wet my hands and start just getting this over the seaweed sheet. Now, the key really is to leave a little gap along the front there, a small gap along here, and then a bigger gap along the top edge. So you can just, not be too fussy about, just get it on there, keep your hands nice and wet with that water. Okay, so once you've got it pretty roughly covered, just even out the rice, making sure, again, as I say, that strip on the top there, you've got a nice wide strip there. Get it kind of to the edges. But that's pretty good. So we're just now going to start filling. So I'm going to start out with a strip of smoked salmon. Again, just in from the rice, I'm going to be a little bit generous here. So I'm going to put in nice couple of bits of smoked salmon. And then in with the avocado. So, filling wise, you can just be really funky. I mean, you could go for pulled barbecued pork if you wanted to. There are no rules. Obviously, people get really anxious that, they hear reports of 15 years of training to become a sushi chef. It really is not that complicated. So we've got a few prawns going in as well. And what I quite like about this is that you kind of make this little decoration here. We roll it up and then it's really nice when you chop it through and you see the profile of what you've made. It's kind of a little chefy thing that pleases me greatly. So there we go. Right, so this is where the mat becomes indispensable. So when we roll, we're just going to try and get this strip of rice here sort of almost on top of there. So just holding it a little bit, just bring it over. And then what you can do is use the mat to almost like bring it in, sort of squeeze it in so that it's all nice and tight and even. And then, now we're going to go again, but this is where we need our bowl of water, because to glue it together, we just moisten the end strip of seaweed. That's why it's really important not to cover that with filling. So don't have to go too mad with it, just get that nice and wet, and then over we go again. Get it nice and firm. That's it. You can make sure it's nice and round. Done. Right, so our roll has just chilled in the fridge for 10 minutes. You can leave it in there for a couple of hours, really. And then another little trick here, just that wet towel that we were using for the rice, just have it, because you'll need to keep cleaning your knife when you cut your rolls. So a nice sharp knife, and out come our gorgeous little sushi rolls. So there we go. We've got 9 maki rolls, as they're known as. We're going to serve that with the obligatory bit of soy sauce, some of our pink pickled ginger, and then let's smear a little swodge of wasabi on the plate. That's it. There we go, folks. We're all done. So yeah, hopefully you'll be able to follow that recipe very, very simply. It just goes to show that it's not rocket science, and you can be so creative with your fillings. You can do anything, smoked mackerel, You can put fruit in there, apple, mango. You could have kind of confit duck in there, anything you like really. So we've got a great kit available on our website, somersetfoodie.com. It's got all the bits that you need. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. See you next time.